All right, everybody, we're going to take it back to summer camp. If you can hear the sound of my voice, clap once. If you can hear the sound of my voice, clap 2 times. If you can hear the sound of my voice, clap 3 times. We almost there. Oh, look, we did it. I'm so proud of us, Chicago. Good evening. My name is Leslie Honore. I'm a poet and author. Thank you. The CEO of Urban Gateways and your proud MC this evening. As I look around this room, I see so many people who are committed to working for the next generation of girls to be able to grow into strong women, to be able to live out their lives with the freedom that their choices and futures are defined by themselves. And so I'm opening tonight with a poem for those girls and for all of us in this room doing this incredible work. If you raise free daughters, they will be the keys that unlock your shackles. They will teach you how to live without ceilings. They will show you that the space between dreams and reality is just a beautiful leap. If you raise free daughters, they will teach you to unlearn, unprogram, unpack everything you know about being a woman, about loving, about trusting. You will speak to yourself differently, so you can speak to her differently, so she can speak to herself with infinity. If you raise free daughters, they will fly high and far, and you will hold your breath and bite your tongue and fight the urge to keep them close. If you raise free daughters, your throat will be tight as they take flight into the Milky Way. If you raise free daughters, they will correct you, and you will be humbled because they will be right. If you raise free daughters, they will grow into free women, and they will never understand what it feels like to make yourself smaller to be loved, to dim your light to be accepted, to be silent to be safe. They will lead and you will follow, because if you raise free daughters, they will break generations' long lies that you are limited, less than, incapable, unfit, unelectable. They will never know a limitation. They will forge new paths, trailblazers, fighters, winners. Hope will not be a mustard seed, it will be a battle cry, a victory. They will breathe courage and never, ever leave a sister behind. Because if you raise free daughters, they will free you and then the world. Thank you, and welcome to 2025's annual Women's History Month celebration hosted by our mayor, Brandon Johnson. I would like to take a moment to recognize and sincerely thank our performers and vendors today. We saw the beautiful Black girl dancers. We've had music by DJ Momami, our caterer, Outside the Box Catering owned by Tamika Jones, our bar and service provider, 14 Parish Restaurant and Rum Bar owned by Raquel Fields. We've got drinks by RS Brewery and Cider House co-owned by Michelle Foyk and Katie Pizza. We have Ruby Champagne providing V and Rosé. Co-founder, CEO Carolyn Dennison Landrew and COO Dr. Amber Elaine Johnson. Our florist is Vision and Bloom owned by Carolyn Young. If you see anything that is familiar, is that all these businesses are owned, run, founded by women. And next up, I have the privilege of welcoming our Mayor's Office of Policy First Deputy, Noreen Hashim Jiwani. I've had the extreme privilege of working with her for the past 2 years, and I tell you sincerely that often you don't get to meet people who are as authentic and as sincere and caring about making this city better for every single one of her residents. So please join me in giving Noreen a warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Leslie, thank you so much for that beautiful poem. I always have to stop the tears from rolling. You're a magician with your words. My name is Noreen Hashim Jawani, and I'm the first Deputy of Policy at the Mayor's Office, and I am deeply honored to stand before you today as a staff chair for the Women's Advisory Council. I'm also the first Asian American to lead our city's policy team as first Deputy of Policy. But before I was any of those things, I was the daughter of a woman who defied the odds, not with wealth or privilege, but with sheer determination and an unshakable belief that a better future was possible. My mother immigrated to this country with hopes and dreams, but without the power to work. No doors were opened for her. She had to carve out her own path. After spending her days caring for a family of 13, including aging grandparents, she spent her nights studying for her GED, fighting for her own empowerment through education. She never once let exhaustion dim her dreams. And in doing so, she gave me something far greater than dreams, an opportunity. She gave me resilience, courage, and the unwavering belief that hope is a powerful human motivator. That same spirit lives in all of us here today. It's why we are here tonight. It's why we continue to break barriers, uplift one another, and push for a Chicago that is better, stronger, and safer for all. As we celebrate Women's History Month, I want to take a moment to recognize and thank the members of our Women's Advisory Council, including Leslie Honore and our chair, Sharita Ellens. I also want to thank our Women's Caucus. Your leadership is not just shaping policy, it is shaping history. I also want to express my deepest gratitude to Mayor Brandon Johnson for his steadfast leadership. Our mayor has supported gender equity and women's empowerment through policies such as expanding Family Connects to improve maternal health outcomes, to defending reproductive justice because abortion care is health care, to historic economic justice policies, including paid time off and one fair wage. These are the policies that our Women's Advisory Council also promotes through its subcommittees on community safety, economic justice, and healthcare. I want to thank Commissioner Hedseth and her incredible team for organizing this event. And to the policy powerhouse, Grace Gunn, you are extraordinary. Because of all of you here today, gender equity in Chicago is no longer just a hopeful vision, it is a reality in motion. But tonight is not just about celebrating how far we have come, it is about galvanizing ourselves for the road ahead, because let's be honest, we are living in a moment that demands courage. Across the country, there are those that would rather see us shrink than rise. They are trying to roll back our rights, limit our freedoms, and make us believe that progress was never ours to claim. But let me be very clear, we are not going back. We come from a lineage of women who have fought, who have marched, who have shattered ceilings so that we can stand where we stand today. And now it is our turn. So tonight, let us celebrate, but let us also leave here with hope in our hearts and fire in our souls. And in that vein, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Sharita Morrison. Sharita is a sociologist, nonprofit leader, educator, and social entrepreneur with over 3 decades of experience in community development across Chicagoland. As the Associate Director of the Alliance for Research with Chicagoland Communities at Northwestern University, Sharita brings a deep commitment to advancing gender equity and racial equity, informed by her extensive background in community organizing and leadership. She is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and takes great pride in her Southside Chicago roots, as well as her public high school education. She attributes her lifelong commitment to service to her faith, her dynamic parents, and a strong village of family, friends, D2F daughters, and sisters in the movement who have continuously supported and inspired her. Please join me in welcoming Sharita Morrison to the stage.
Now that I'm settled, good evening, powerful women of Chicago. Let me say that again. Good evening, powerful women of Chicago. Yes, I knew you were in the room. First, I want to thank Mayor Brandon Johnson and the city of Chicago for inviting me to co-keynote this special celebration. I also want to honor every woman in this room. First Lady Stacey Johnson, elected officials, yes. I'm sure it takes a lot to be the First Lady of this city. Elected officials, community leaders, caregivers, I'm in that phase, visionaries, and change agents. Why are we here? Because in 1978, a group of women gathered, just like we're gathered here now, inspired by the belief that women's contributions should not ever be forgotten. What started as a local observance in California sparked a national movement. And here we are today, not just to celebrate, but to remember, to reflect, and always to receive a charge. So what must we remember? We must remember the historical women who paved the way, like Ida B. Wells and Sojourner Truth and Ella Baker, Dolores Huerta and Patsy Mink, and the everyday sheroes in our families who held it down every day with limited resources and unlimited faith. I just want to take a moment to honor those women who are our ancestors and those who are living among us. And I want you to just take a moment and shout out some names, whose women, their names, you want to celebrate them in this room tonight. Just call them out. Call them out. Call them out. Say their names. Say their names. And Frances Beatrice Hardin Morrison. We honor them all. We must remember our collective and individual power, that each of us is here on divine assignment to influence and to impact the world around us. And we must remember that we are history in motion, making it every single day. That's why I say to you, this is not the time for silence. This is not the time for silence. It is time, women, girls, for us to amplify. Now, what does it mean to amplify? To amplify is to raise the volume of truth, of justice, and love. It means we refuse to whisper when the world needs a roar. So let's raise our voices for fair and equitable pay, for increased funding for women and girls programming. Yes, for maternal health justice, expanded menopause research, immigration protection and reform, finding our missing Black women and girls. And we amplify like a roar for the safety and well-being of our girls. They're the daughters of this city, because their wellness is our wellness. And their quality of life defines the quality of our future as a city, as a country, and as a world. Recently, a billionaire declared that the fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. I disagree. To the contrary, empathy undergirded by love is one of our greatest strengths. It's not weakness. It's our most potent weapon against the harm of hatred. So how do we amplify love? Through our actions, through our expressions, and the character that we embody every day. Just a few weeks ago, my mother wrote personal love letters to our family and framed them. When she gave them to us, there wasn't a dry eye in the room, from the grandchildren to my dad. We've always known she loves us, but in that moment, she amplified it, and we will never forget it. So I ask you tonight, where do you need to amplify? Where do you need to make some noise? Where do you need to get into some good trouble? Because the women that we honor in this moment were not quiet. They defied the standards of their time. So tonight, let's amplify our celebration of one another, our rich and unstoppable history. But as we walk into tomorrow, let us remember the call and remember the charge that we're giving to each other tonight. And so I want you to turn to some women, and we're gonna say amplify. I want you to give them a high five and then a high 10. And on the count of 3, I want you to say amplify, 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 amplify women of Chicago, amplify women on the South Side, amplify women on the West Side, amplify women of this great city. It's time to turn up the volume. It's time to amplify. Thank you. Now, in the midst of our amplification, we got to have our men. And we have been blessed with a man anointed for this hour. And so I'd like to introduce to you the mayor of this great city, Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Yes, I know. You got it all on you.
Wow. Y'all give it up for Evangelist Sharita. Boy, didn't she bring the good news tonight? No, listen, y'all just got a charge tonight. It's time to amplify. I'm feeling a whole amplification spirit in the room. So grateful. Welcome to Chicago's annual Women's History Month celebration. Boy, we have some powerful women here this evening. Thank you so much for being here as we recognize the women of our past and present who make Chicago the best freaking city in the world. And the reason why we are the best freaking city in the world is because we have the baddest women in the world, and they're making some real serious noise. Let me begin by recognizing some of the women who are with us tonight. I do want to acknowledge first the City of Chicago's Advisory Council, particularly the Advisory Council on Women that ensures that our city's values work to protect and invest in our women. Let's give it up for our entire Advisory Council. Now, how about our MC tonight? Isn't she great? You know you're special when you're born with a name that rhymes, Leslie Honore. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for you fulfilling your purpose and spreading good news all over this country. Of course, again, the chair of the Advisory Council, Sharita Ellens. Come on, y'all, put your hands together for Sharita. And then we have some dynamic women serving on the city council. Let's give it up for all of the women that serve on our city's council. Another woman, though, that makes our city the beloved city that it is our grant recipient of the evening. Violets in Bloom, an organization that's been founded by Miss Renee Beeman. Renee Beeman. Yeah, let's give it up. Give it up for Renee. Renee Beeman started Violets in Bloom after seeing the devastating impact that the juvenile system can have, particularly on our girls. And through Violets in Bloom, she offers mentorship, education, empowerment to girls, giving them the tools and opportunities that they need to survive as well as succeed. Congratulations on this incredible recognition. I have no doubt that you will continue to do great work. And if I'm not mistaken, our wonderful recipient this evening is also a proud member of our Chicago Police Department. So without further ado, help me congratulate the recipient in this big old check, Miss Renee Beeman. I do want to acknowledge a few more folks that are here this evening. Just very quickly, the First Lady of the Freedom Movement, Mrs. Jackson, is in the room tonight. Come on, y'all, Mrs. Jackson is here. We also have a very proud West Sider representing the entire city of Chicago, though. She is the treasurer of this great city, Melissa Conyers-Irvin. Thank you for being here. And then we have another history maker, a proud West Sider, the first ever black woman to serve in this capacity as the first deputy of our police department. Y'all give it up for Yolanda Talley. So, if y'all haven't noticed, there's a West Side takeover that's in the atmosphere. Look at you Southsiders have had your chance for a long time. I'm just saying, John Strozier, Harold Washington, Tony Preckwinkle. My God, can we get the West Side in the house tonight? But, you know, the true history maker, the love of my life, she is the first black First Lady in the history of Chicago. Stacey Nicole Richard Johnson, thank you for being here. Hey, Sharita, I'm trying to get her to write me a few love letters myself. You just talk to her afterwards, just get one. Because guess what, y'all? It's my birthday this week. And I'm grateful that I get a chance to be a part of this incredible journey with my wife, who has displayed a great deal of compassion and love and energy towards environmental justice, which really embraces the fundamentals of our culture, of being able to have lifelong sustainability. That is truly the spirit of our ancestors. And of course, my wife's commitment to maternal health. Many of you may not know that she was a doula before I took on this venture, and making sure that black maternal health in particular is a space where our women and our women's struggles and their pain and their aspirations and hope, that those desires can be held in a safe space. So thank you to my lovely wife for your conviction around those things. You know, when seriously, when I think about my wife, I'm, reminded of how women truly are our best leaders. And our women are, right, just relax, I'm getting to it. I actually took time to type it out. But to be leaders and to be nurturers and to be supporters, and to do that all at the same time. You know, women are simply the best. You really are. In fact, to be able to see the world through the lens of God, you have to see it through the lens of a woman. Dropping bars, ain't he? That's not even in this speech. But in the words of Shaka Khan, I am every woman. It's all in me. Anything you want done, make sure you talk to a sister. But throughout the month of March, you all, the city of Chicago, we truly are honored to celebrate our women, the incredible impact that they've had on our lives. And from Jane Addams and to Ida B. Wells, the voice of Black women that continues to ring through generations. I'm thinking about incredible people who have broken down barriers, whether it's Bessie Coleman, Gwendolyn Brooks, so many other people like Margaret Taylor Burroughs. You know, when I think about the stories of Chicagoans, like the house on Mango Street, we think about our dear sister Sandra Sinceros. But I'm also grateful of the world-renowned architect of Jeannie Gang and the president and CEO of the Chicago Community Trust, Helene D. Gale, and of course the late great Karen Lewis, and my dear sister and friend of the Chicago Teachers Union, Stacey Davis Gates, and of course a true Southsider, the First Lady and the ever First Lady of this country, First Lady Michelle Obama. These are the collective stories of women, and particularly women that are attached to this beloved city. My administration is committed to making sure that Chicago always remains a bastion of freedom and opportunity for women. In fact, we are ensuring that women from all of our 77 distinct communities have a chance to lead a prosperous and happy life in Chicago through investments. And we're doing that through our physical health and mental health, building more affordable homes, environmental justice, and other efforts to strengthen our communities. We are ensuring that women are empowered and that they have the full support to be able to raise a family, but also to lead this city. And through our investments, I'm very proud because I have an administration that is made up of nearly 65% women. And I only say that, you all, as I take my seat, is that there's a reason why my administration is under attack. This is not about communications. This is not about whether I believe that Black folks should get less or more than folks who were used as political pawns. This is about the fact that this city has been ran by individuals that did not want to see a room like this exist. In fact, they were more interested in securing an administration that looked like the Trump's administration, where 70% of those who worked within city proper were white and overwhelmingly white men. But thank God that there is a new day where Black, brown, white, Asian, young, old, and particularly women can lead in this moment. And so every time they take a shot at my administration, they are taking a shot at Black and brown women. And as long as I'm mayor of the city of Chicago, we will continue to stand up for the interests of our women to secure 29,000 jobs for young people. That's what this administration has done. Building more affordable homes, almost 4,000, 4,600 in the pipeline, $11 billion of new investment with 37,000 jobs. That's a Black woman and a brown woman with Commissioners Boatwright and Castaneda who are building that infrastructure. That's what we're fighting for. We want to make sure that our systems of care, particularly mental health, is supported, and that's being led by Dr. Ige, another Black woman. Now, the beauty of being in my skin is that I come from a woman, a Black one. I'm in love with one Black woman, raising a Black woman. All I'm saying is, I have standing in this fight to make sure that women and women's leadership matters and that it leads with boldness. And that's why I'm grateful that not only did we build more affordable homes, not only have we created more jobs, not only have we stood up 3 new mental health clinics, we abolished the sub-minimum wage, passing the One Fair Wage ordinance that just gave raises to 60,000 black and brown women. Now look, there's a lot of work to be done, but there is grace in the room tonight. There's grace in the room and there's compassion in this room. That makes us strong. In fact, it makes us stronger. The weakest individuals have to flex and behave as if they got something. But I've stood next to women my entire professional career where they never, ever had to prove anything to anyone. And in my administration, you don't. You just have to be the best version of yourself, ensuring that our ancestors' hopes and dreams and aspirations can come through the fields of picking cotton, can come through the fields of subjugation, can come through the fields of demonization. But here we are now in a moment where women not only get to lead, you get to lead out loud. You get to make sure that those voices that have been voiceless and that have been harmed for generations, that you get to elevate and amplify all of their hopes and aspirations. And even though we are under tremendous attacks right now from the Trump administration, make no mistake about it, we are going to continue to build a stronger, a much safer, a more inclusive economy. And we're going to do it because we got the damn thing with women. So thank you all. Thank you all for your courage, your bravery, and your strength. And of course, I want to give a special thanks to all of our sponsors. Can we give it up for Aon, Ferrara Candy Company, McDonald's, Globetrotters Engineering Corporation, and the People's Gas. We got United Airlines, US Bank, and Walgreens. Thank you all for your support. Happy Women's History Month.